What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about do Norwegians prefer to date Norwegians or foreigners? As an American, I have no idea what Norwegian dating culture is like. So I thought this would be a very interesting video to take a look at. So they're basically going around asking random Norwegians if they would rather date someone who is local to Norway or someone who is a foreigner. So that sounds very interesting, and with that being said, let's take a look.
Would you rather date a Norwegian or a foreigner?
I'm Norwegian.
Why?
Right.
I don't know. Familiar, maybe?
Exactly. I had an idea in my mind of what the answer would be to this, and my gut feeling was, wouldn't most Norwegians want to be in a relationship with another Norwegian? Not that you have anything against foreigners or anything, but usually you want to date people that you have something in common with. That's familiar, and so that just makes sense to me that he would say Norwegian.
I'm actually together with a Polish girl.
Really?
Polish
Oh.
girl, yeah.
Okay, why Polish? Or was it just
She
the...
lives in Norway. She's
Oh.
Norwegian.
Well, now I'm dating an American guy right here.
Oh!
So, yeah. It doesn't really matter for me.
Wow. What an interesting surprise. So immediately, two of the people are dating foreigners. So this also doesn't surprise me that a lot of Norwegians might say, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess it helps a lot that Norwegians can speak English, usually speak very good English. That really opens up a lot of doors because I think a lot of cultures and countries around the world, a lot of people tend to learn English maybe as a second language. So that really opens a lot of doors for Norwegians in terms of relationships because you speak two languages, you can communicate with more people. That's interesting to think about. Like, here, I have to compare this to my experiences in America, and most Americans, only speak English and can only really relate to other Americans. So that's kind of why I thought Norwegians would be the same, but maybe not.
It's depend.
Okay.
Yeah. The shape, the mind, the communication. So I don't care.
A foreigner. I just think they're more exciting, they're more open, and
Wow. A lot of people saying they don't care, and now someone saying they would rather date a foreigner. They would rather date someone who's not Norwegian, even though she is Norwegian.
more polite. I feel like guys, take Austin for example, they do all this small acts of kindness like opening the door, pay for dinner. And not that I expect or want someone to always pay for my dinner, but it's nice. It's nice that some people wants to pay for dinner or wants to pay for drink or wants to take me out on a picnic or wants to plan a dinner because we don't do it here in Norway.
Are you guys dating?
What? Really? This is really interesting. This is actually teaching me about, I don't know, dating customs in Norway. It sounds like this Norwegian woman here actually thinks that, that's funny that she's talking about Texas in her example. Men from Texas are more polite. Certainly, definitely American men from that region are probably taught to treat women a certain way, kind of more old school, have manners, pay for everything. And maybe that's just not how it is in Norway. Maybe it's just different customs. So some Norwegians might prefer the American dating customs, and some might prefer the Norwegian. That's very interesting to me.
Are you guys dating?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna be really okay. So whatever. I'll give it to you anyways. Would you rather date a Norwegian or a foreigner?
I think a foreigner, but then but I love you. But it's just like he's a bit different from like more like common Norwegians, I think. So that was why we started dating.
What is going on here? What is going on? This, I have to say, this is not what I expected. Not what I expected. I thought most Norwegians would be like, I'd want to date a Norwegian because that's familiar, comfortable, we can relate on our common Norwegianness. But I don't know, so far the people she's interviewing, to my shock, they're saying they would rather date a foreigner. They'd rather date someone from another country. And this poor guy, this poor Norwegian, her boyfriend. Oh no.
I think I could never date a Norwegian who had never been abroad or lived in other countries. I think.
Go home to my place so we can do the good thing.
But thank you for the honesty.
I think guys here in Norway kind of expects the girl to pay or the girl to pay for herself when you're out on a date.
Really? Really? See, I'm learning new things in this video. I had no idea. I think dating customs and culture sounds very different in Norway, actually. Now that I'm hearing this, in America, as a man, you are expected to pay for things. I mean, in this day and age, times have changed a little bit, and some people try to treat it more equally and have women pay for half of things, which is fine. But I think, if I'm being honest, most men in America, we assume we have to pay for things on a date. That is expected, or else it would be rude not to, actually, in America. So maybe that's very different than Norway.
And why is that? Do you think there's a reason for that?
I just think it's because Norwegian women are very independent. For us allowing guys to pay for us shows kind of a sign of weakness.
I think
Oh, that explains a little bit more. So maybe Norwegian women are more independent. Maybe Norwegian women don't want you to pay for their stuff. They don't want to accept your money. That makes sense to me. Okay.
I honestly could do both. Like, it really
Both?
depends
Yeah.
on the person.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with this one.
Oh.
I'm gonna say foreigner.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. But also Norwegian.
Why?
I feel like the stereotype would be that they would be like more stable with time. I don't know, because of the like more northern cool
Yeah.
blood thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
I am just so shocked. This is not at all how people would answer in America. Most Americans, I mean, hold on. I should say most Americans wouldn't even think about dating a foreigner because there are not many foreigners in America. I think that is a major, major difference here. In Norway, you're closer to the rest of Europe and other Scandinavian countries and the European countries, and there's just more people from different cultures and countries around you that you could possibly meet or come into contact with. Here in America, like we're not by anything. We're next to Canada and Mexico. But in America, you only meet Americans. Like that's it. Like you do not see foreigners in America. It is very, very rare. So that is a major difference here. Like Americans don't even think about this question the same way. I'd be like, I don't even know any foreigners. How am I possibly gonna meet or let alone date a foreigner? There's none here. But in Norway, it sounds like there's a lot more foreigners. So it's a lot more reasonable of a question.
Consistency. More consistency.
Yeah.
Predictability
Yeah.
is the word she's looking for.
So she was saying like, maybe I could date Norwegians as well. And they're saying, why would you do that? Because they're more relatable, more predictable, because you're from the same culture. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like for the fun, a foreigner for sure.
So like if you want a nice dependable couch, a Norwegian.
Big summer blowout.
You agree with this?
I totally agree. I always pictured myself ending up with a French woman, but she does a great French accent, so
Can we hear it?
it's really good, trust me.
Oh, answered this question correctly.
This is going to YouTube.
Well, you fucking idiots. Norwegian, of course.
Are you marrying a Norwegian?
Yes, I am. She's Georgia.
Oh, okay. Finally, a different answer. Do they have a shirt with his picture on it? Anyway, all of them are saying Norwegian. Is there a difference between how the men and the women are answering this question? The men seem to say Norwegian, and the women seem to say foreigner. Is that at all accurate, or I don't know?
I am. She's Georgia's lady. Georgia's lady. Are you sure? Is that your favorite? Sorry. Is that your final answer? It's the alcohol. Yeah. But she is a lovely lady, and
It's okay though, because we've had Norwegian couples here, and when I asked them, they said they would rather date a foreigner. So
you had couples here
Yes.
saying that they would rather date foreigners.
It works in mysterious ways. So if it was a foreigner, then let it be. But then,
Let us switch this interview around.
okay.
You're Canadian.
Yes.
What are you doing here?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? I think I would opt in for the foreigner because my brother-in-law is...
Okay, never mind. It has nothing to do with whether they're men or women. It just seems like more Norwegians are interested in dating foreigners, which is really interesting to me. Like, what does that say? That some Norwegians are unhappy with the Norwegian dating culture or something?
is dating a foreign girl from Portugal. And it's very interesting to get that perspective on your own culture, like the foreign culture, perspective on how it is living in Norway and trying to function in a social situation with Norwegians. It's kind of funny and it's interesting, and then you get access to another cultural phenomenon. So it's kind of like a research paper.
Do you think Americans are more...
So they enjoy dating someone who has a different perspective on life and from a different culture. That's interesting and eye-opening to a lot of Norwegians. Okay.
outspoken and more like energetic in general?
Yeah.
Do you prefer that, or do you like the more calm?
I am kind of more of the calm one because that's what I'm used to.
Do you guys have any cultural misunderstandings during the dating? Like,
Not really. I think that's also because we're really good at communicating and stuff. So.
Have you had any culture shocks?
That's interesting because I would have been... My worry is that if you dated someone from another country, a foreigner, you would have a lot of communication issues. But I guess that's not really necessarily true. And especially for Norwegians, if they're dating someone who can speak English, then it's fine.
While dating a Polish woman?
Definitely.
Can you give me one?
No.
No!
I can give you one. Poland is a different society, very Catholic. It's a bit different culture in terms of partying and also more direct. I would definitely say more direct in the communication.
Why would you say...
Interesting. So some Norwegians are dating people who have just completely different culture, different communication style, and maybe that's kind of appealing.
You wouldn't date a typical Norwegian?
Because they're a bit boring.
People that haven't been abroad, they're a bit more close-minded. And
That's not just with Norwegians.
I think that's a general point. Yeah. But if you...
So a lot of these Norwegians are saying they enjoy foreigners, or at least people who have been abroad and traveled. Like, that's very important to them. And obviously, this is just the opinion of some Norwegians. This doesn't speak for everyone, but it's interesting to hear this group of Norwegians talk about this. Like here in America, that's not even a thought in America. Like, oh, I want to date someone who's really traveled and worldly. Americans don't travel that much. We don't travel outside of the United States that much, like ever. That's very rare. So it's certainly not something that we care about or look for in dating. But in Norway, this is really something Norwegians think about. I think Norwegians travel and are exposed to more cultures. Probably because Norway is close to and in Europe and by a bunch of countries, whereas in America, we're kind of isolated in that way.
If you go out, see the world, you get different perspectives, and in my opinion, you become a more interesting person. So
100%. And any culture in particular that you find yourselves like you love?
I think maybe the British culture, that we have a lot in common with the Nordics and the Brits.
I think that if an American was to date a foreigner, they would probably be British or Australian, because I think those are both English-speaking countries, and similar enough that the communication wouldn't be a problem.
We're the same. We get along quite well. With Americans, it's different because we get a bit uncomfortable by the
energy.
Yeah.
My evening's going amazing because I have a rose.
Uncomfortable by Americans and the energy. Interesting.
cultures like the French or the Italian or the Spanish, which is more open and more, more passionate in a way. And I think that could be quite interesting for Norwegians as well.
Personality is key.
Right. Do you feel like there's anything missing in the Norwegian dating culture?
Not that I know of, because I went out of the market a couple of years back, so I have no idea what's going on.
And she's Norwegian?
She is Norwegian, yes.
Okay. Are you all in committed relationships?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. So you're
12-year relationship.
12 years.
So of course it will be
15.
Wow.
So yeah, it works.
Wow.
Julie, they're all in committed relationships.
Yeah, really committed.
Yeah. Everyone is. Everyone in this. We are seven guys, seven.
There is hope.
Wow. Okay. That was really interesting. Again, I gotta say, not what I expected. Not what I expected. I thought I was just going by what Americans would say, how Americans would answer this. Most Americans would be like, yeah, I'm gonna date local. I'm gonna date an American because that's all there is here. There's only Americans. And it's not like I'm gonna go travel to Europe or something. So that's the attitude I had. It's a completely different mindset in Norway. In Norway, you have a lot more options. There's a lot of countries close by. If you're Norwegian, you probably speak English and can communicate with a lot of people. It's a very, very different outlook. So that really surprised me here. And I enjoyed that surprise. So this video is by Dating Beyond Borders. And I got to give this a like. That was really interesting hearing from Norwegians on this topic and the Norwegian point of view. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your thoughts on whether, if you're Norwegian, would you rather date someone from Norway or from a foreigner from another country? Or does it not really matter, maybe? That'd be very interesting to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.